Hello, everyone. Welcome in to the High Council podcast with myself, and today we only have two of our my co-stars, dare I say. May you introduce yourselves? Deadpool first, I guess.
Deadpool, glad to be here. Awesome to be on another episode of the podcast.
All right, nice. And then the next co-host is there's only one other co-host here technically, so you do you, guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids, Catty Mooney, look at Gonez, cross on the blooded empire, and his eye, Mr. Guy 115, and I'm exotic for some reason.
Are you sure you're not Arnold, really? All right.
Today, I am whoever. I have a sonic screwdriver in one hand, in the other hand, my computer mouse, and I'm probably high on Sharpie fumes, but that's okay.
Let me say that saying that you have certain object in one hand and the mouse in the other kind of sounds a bit sus. Just say.
Hey, I put screw in there for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. All right, but today, like last podcast, now today was going to be a movie review, but technical difficulties, so the movie review will be tomorrow regardless. All right, hopefully. Now I'm saying regardless, but I can't guarantee anything. But I kind of want to guarantee.
We just need to kick Vector in the dick and just say you should have been here, bro.
No, we'll get a rusher to smack him a bit. All right.
We'll get Rusher to throw him around.
Yeah. All right. But we today, like last time, we have a special guest, someone who's from the same place that we all met, and the same place as our last guest, Kogi or Chris, is from. May you introduce yourself, special guest?
Hello, I am airtight.
You are indeed airtype.
Yes.
So, today's episode is it's Deadpool's turn to bring a topic. Now, Deadpool, you have been very excited about this little topic of yours. So, may you introduce this topic that you are so extremely excited about?
So, the topic I have today would be a duel. And I want everyone's opinion on it because, in my eyes, it's very interesting. So, we're going based on these two characters' prime in their life. Who would win between Jango Fett and Boba Fett?
Oh.
I'm going to open up with this. Django and Boba are the exact same.
Yeah.
I look at them both. I love them. I love both of them as a whole. I think my first real Mandalorian love was Jango Fett because I grew up with the prequels. I'm 21 now, but when Episode 2 came out, I was 2 years old, and
I wasn't
that
born.
movie sticks out in my brain so much for some reason.
Yeah.
And just every time I see Jango Fett or Boba Fett or just Tamara Morrison just playing a character, I just think, yep, that's it. That's my boy there. I like them both equally.
Yeah.
I can't choose. But to me, it seems like they've both had very similar childhoods. They both lost their father figures at young ages. Django was taken into the Mandalorians like Din Djarin was from the Mandalorians TV show.
Yeah.
And I read all of the comic books I could possibly get my hands on. I read most of what happened to Django.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing that he was in the Mandalorian Civil Wars, like Boba says in the show, Count Dooku was actually the one who helped wipe out the rest of the faction of the Mandalorians, which was the true Mandalorians. There was Death Watch and the true Mandalorians. The true Mandalorians got wiped out by the Jedi, which the Death Watch actually framed the true Mandalorians being the Death Watch. And Django was a sole survivor, and that's why he hates Jedi so much, and he joined the Separatists because of what happened.
Yeah. Like for me, obviously, like they got similar stories. Now again, like I wasn't born when fucking Attack of the Clones came out because it came out in May 2002. I'm born in September. So I wasn't even born, but I still but my dad has both trilogies in like trilogy packets, right? So when I was a bit older and I clearly started showing interest in Star Wars, I watched them, and I loved the clones. I loved Boba Fett. I loved Jango Fett. But I think, obviously they're very different. No, they're the same guy because Boba Fett's literally a clone. But I feel like there are a few variables that you could probably take in. Like I think we could definitely go like stages with this. We can go in kind of like, what's it called? Fucking death. What is it? Death battle? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the death battle stuff where they go through like specific things in a synonymous order. I think that the thing that I would think of first is, or like one of the main difference are their weapons. Django having dual wield pistols, whilst Boba Fett has sort of like a burst assault rifle, I guess it technically is.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
so they have very
Because,
different
like-
weapons. And that's one way to do it. There are many ways to fucking like see what to differ them. But that's one of the first things that come to my mind is their color scheme and their different weapons. That's the biggest difference between those two characters. But then you also have to think about, okay, what were they trained by? Okay, Boba Fett, he was trained by bounty hunters. Okay, that's pretty good bounty hunters as well, I would say. Like people like Aura Singh, Cad Bane, that stuff.
Boss, Dengar.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the better bounty hunters. But you also got to remember, like Jango Fett was raised by Mandalorians, the most ruthless Jedi killers in the universe.
Through fighting camps, like from a young age, kind of like the Spartans. You were trained to
Yeah. It's like you were bred and made to fucking kill. And also, like, the Mandalorians, the biggest Jedi killers in the world, technically, via history. Like, anytime someone went up against Jedi, guess what they fucking had on their side? Fucking Darth Malgus had a fucking Mandalorian on his side. Like, you think, like, the Mandalorians were feared amongst the Jedi. Like, when Jango Fett first showed up, people were like, hold up. Listen, what's going on here? He's a bounty hunter Mandalorian. So... Now it definitely sounds like I'm giving Jango Fett like the benefit like here, but I'm just exploring all the possibilities because there are many things to consider with the characters.
Well, also, it's the time era, too. Boba Fett may have a better blaster because of the time era.
Yeah.
And I think Boba Fett would win because he has more of an arsenal than Django. And
Yeah,
more
considering
experience.
Boba had a lightsaber at one point.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was hired by Darth Vader.
He also almost beat Darth Vader in a fucking duel, which is pretty OP.
That wasn't really an almost. That was he deflected a few blasts and Darth Vader just used the Force and pinned him down.
Yeah, but like, but I mean, like, there might be multiple comics of it because the one that I read, he actually did put up a bit of a fight with the lightsaber, like saber against saber. That
Yeah,
sounds
I think
really sus.
somewhere in the comics, he like helped Leia train or something.
Yeah,
Yes, actually, he did.
yeah, he did.
But it all breaks down like their armor used to be made of Durasteel, the same thing that Star Destroyers were made out of,
Yeah,
and now I guess it's canon that's made of Beskar. So I get because they're originally. From what I saw from a deleted scene and from what I've read online, Episode 2, Mace Windu and Django were supposed to have a very more long, drawn-out fight.
yeah,
Like how Din Djarin fought Ahsoka by using his greaves to block.
yeah,
That was going to be something similar to what Django would do with Mace.
yeah.
But they cut it for runtime, and they gave him like 2 seconds to fight.
Yeah.
He didn't fight. That was the issue. He just got cut in half.
Yeah, he just got hammered. He got ran over by a freaking bull-looking thing, and then his hand and then his head cut off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his jetpack got destroyed.
Which like two of at least in comics, people like they look in the movies they look the coolest, but they're pretty fucking awesome in the comics. But two of the coolest looking characters in the movies both go out
They just
in
get
fucking
shit.
dumbass ways. One gets fucking
Right.
hit. One gets hit by a blind guy in the back, and then his jetpack malfunctions. He crashes into a ship, and then he falls into this fucking massive thing that's just eating people who's in the sand. And then the other guy, he gets run over by a fucking rhino because he's dumb enough to not try and juke it.
Well,
And then he
Yeah,
shoots a
yeah,
few
that-
blaster
yeah.
shots, and then he gets fucking cut in half.
I think Django had the better runtime because he actually got to kill a couple of people before.
Oh,
he
yeah.
died.
Like what's his name? The fucking
Coleman or something like that.
Coleman Trebor. That's it. The guy who he killed.
the dinosaur.
Yeah, the dinosaur
Yeah,
guy.
well,
Like
Yeah, yeah.
he was like just like he jumps up all of a sudden, bam, and then he just like and then it was awesome that he finally flicks his gun and then puts it in his
yeah,
pocket.
he whooshes it like
Yeah.
a western. That was it.
Well, technically,
Yeah,
Boba
but I
didn't
mean,
die
he
by the
is-
Sarlacc pit.
You know, whatever.
Yeah, but for
He did
everybody.
get the
But
kills,
we
yes.
people didn't know that back in that day.
Now we know he's not dead.
Now we know, and we've known
Yes.
for a few years now. But when that first came out,
But
like he
But
only wrote the
it's-
fucking comics because Boba Fett got a good reception. All right, anyways, Deadpool.
he did Django get
Deadpool, my friend, you're cutting out.
on screen.
Yeah, Deadpool is having a malfunction.
Yeah, you're malfunctioning.
Deadpool, leave the call, join back.
Yeah, leave and come back. So it's great when shit's live, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Obviously, I can't. If I want to, I can edit it,
You can just cut it out.
but I kind of don't want to because it's kind of funny as well. Deadpool, you gotta leave the party, bro. Try and leave and come back. Come back fresh. Deadpool.
All right. How's that? Does that sound better?
Oh, that's a lot. That's
Great.
great.
You
That is
sound
brilliant. All right, back on track. So, Deadpool, what were you saying?
So, what I was saying is, yes, Jango Fett had the on-screen kills, but at the same time, you have to remember it was just an iconic OG scene when Darth Vader was talking about capturing Han Solo, and he had all the bounty hunters there, and he points to Boba Fett specifically and says, "No disintegrations."
No.
Yeah.
I love that. I can imagine he's going, fine, I won't disintegrate anyone. 'Cause what
No
it seems like is
disintegrations.
him and Solo have had like such a long history that
Yeah.
I've never seen actually added on to.
Which, by the way, I was actually going a bit off topic, but not really. When the fact that this movie Solo, it pissed me off that there was not at least a cameo of Boba Fett there. So something to
Yeah,
start off a bit of a rivalry between them. A tiny bit. Even just like, let's say that he travels somewhere and he meets him like in a post-credit scene, I would be fine with that. I just wanted to see a little bit of Boba Fett. But no. We see how he gets his blaster, which all of a sudden has no meaning anymore because, Disney thought, no, the sentimental value that it has in the comics doesn't make sense anymore. So this one pirate guy kind of just gives him a blaster.
It'd be different if
Yeah.
Kara gave it to him because that was the love interest in the movie.
Yeah.
And like he kept the dice, which was they did a good thing with the dice. And
Yeah,
they,
but see, the issue for me there is I like it, but also when he's then with Leia, why the
yeah,
fuck
that
are
doesn't
the
make
dice
any
still
sense.
there?
Yeah, like, you're with Leia now.
Yeah, it's like he's with Leia and he keeps these dice that this one love interest had.
Yeah, I think that would be like his memento to like his past of how he got started as a smuggler.
Yeah,
But why he would give them to Leia is beyond me.
but also another dumb thing is how he got his name. Oh yeah, you're alone. Ah fuck it, we'll call you Solo.
They should just made his last name Solo. They shouldn't have been like, oh yeah, you're by yourself, Solo. No, just leave it as his last name's Han Solo.
Yeah.
Well, how do you get his name? His family's name is Solo. Get over it. Go home.
Like now no, it sounds like I'm just bashing the solo. I really did like the solo movie.
Yeah, I like the movie too.
The only two that I'm not super keen on are episode 8 and episode 9. But episode 9 I can tolerate because at least J.J. Abrams at least tries to fix certain issues. But we're not going to get into that. Now we're going a bit off topic. But all right. But Deadpool, since it's your topic and you have been super excited to share it, I would like to hear what is your thought on it. Or what's your opinion? Who do you think will win? Why? What's your thought on this, lad?
So my thought on it, and as we all know in this group, my favorite Star Wars character of all time is Boba Fett.
Yep.
My thought, it's tough. So Boba Fett would definitely have the advantage in certain ways, being in his prime, and so would Jango Fett. So Jango Fett was definitely a guerrilla warfare fighter.
Yeah.
That's what he trained for. Boba Fett was hunt someone down and capture them.
Yeah.
Boba Fett wasn't really a warrior, if you get what I'm trying to say. He wasn't trained in the art of war. He wasn't trained how to fight tactics. He was essentially trained to hunt down people, capture them, turn in, and collect money. So it's hard for me to say this, but I think Jango Fett would take the win on it, just only because he is trained as a warrior. He was trained by the greatest warriors in the galaxy and created Boba Fett as his son, and Boba Fett went down a different path.
Now, that is a different issue, because in the comic books, Boba Fett kills a lot of people.
Oh yeah, like
Yes, he does.
they're
Don't get
both
me wrong.
they're both
He
beasts
definitely does.
essentially. Like they're both fucking absolute animals when it comes to fighting. Like when it comes to getting the fucking job done, they're both in like a league of their own essentially.
Because Django killed Jedi and Boba killed Jedi.
Yeah.
Because Django killed him killed Jedi when he was much younger. Because the Mandalorians fought the Jedi at their last holdout. And I think I don't know if it was on screen, like on the little panels that he killed one. I do think they mentioned that he does.
Yeah.
But the Jedi obviously gets the other.
But like in the wise words of Kobe Bryant, different monster, same beast.
Well, on the contrary, I think Boba Fett was more feared.
Yeah,
but
Django was the most notorious bounty hunter.
But
the name Boba Fett carried more weight than the name Jango Fett.
But I
Because-
think that the reasoning for that though is because of the era of bounty hunters at that time. With Jango Fett, he was with the Mandalorians, obviously, and the Mandalorians are a much more feared name in that sense than what Boba Fett is. And so I think that he kind of quote unquote falls victim to the fact that he was a Mandalorian, so therefore his name wasn't as known. Now it got to be known, but at the start it was just the Mandalorians. But then he ventures out, and obviously it becomes more known. The name Jango Fett becomes known and becomes feared. Whilst with Boba Fett, he was a bounty hunter throughout the entire time. So people knew, the thing about bounty hunters, like you see, like, who are the most known? Well, the reason that they are the most known to us is because they're also the ones that get the job done, so they get paid the most, and therefore there are more stories to tell with the characters, therefore there are more comics with characters like Bosk, Dengar, everyone knows them. The reason is because they're some of the best. And then when Boba being trained with those and being with those, when you build a name as a bounty hunter, everyone knows who you are. As a Mandalorian, you're part of the Mandalorians. You just get fucked. Whilst as a bounty hunter, everyone knows your name because you are for hire. Your name is literally out there to be bought. Whilst with Jango Fett, at first it was a different situation. And then when he first actually did something, he kind of stuck with, for example, Dooku for a while.
Yeah, I do know that around the time when Django was in the bounty hunter stuff, I know Aura Singh, Cad Bane, Dengar, and before they erased him from canon, Dirge were the big set of bounty hunters that were around.
Yeah.
And then when Boba was around, there was definitely a lot more where you have Bosk, IG-88. You had Dengar, who would just start something. I think Aurra Sing died because they talk about it in Solo, but we never see it.
Yeah.
We got Forlom, and I don't remember the other guy's name. I think it starts with a Q. I always want to call him Cubert, but I'm wrong. And there's just a bunch of different bounty hunters during the Galactic Civil War. So I think the name is bigger for Boba because there were so many bounty hunters at the time.
Yeah.
And then Boba being the most feared bounty hunter definitely has a better reputation than Django did. But then Zam Wesell, another bounty hunter during that time of Django,
Yeah.
was also there. But there wasn't many bounty hunters that we knew of. I'm sure there's plenty more. There was Embo and
Oh yeah.
others,
A-
but we
a-
never got to build upon them.
Embo. See, the thing for me, because I fucking love Embo.
So cool.
Oh yeah.
Embo is a fucking badass, and
Blue King meets Star Wars.
but obviously you saw him, the first time you saw him was in the fucking, one where like Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, they're trying to save that village.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
time you see him. But after that, I loved him, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna invest a bit of time into this character, reading some comics with him, and his name was a lot more known than what people actually realize. Just if you just watch the Clone Wars, you think, oh yeah, he's one of the
shows up
better
in
bounty
the
hunters.
show.
That's what you think. But Embo was like, he was fucking feared. Like you see him even in the Clone Wars, he goes fucking head to toe against like,
he did not care about going up against Maul, or no, who was it?
yeah,
It was Savage.
he doesn't give a fuck about Maul. He doesn't give a fuck about Savage. He doesn't give a fuck about Anakin, Obi-Wan. He's just a fucking badass, and he's got a fucking epic wolf next to him as well.
Yeah,
but-
his dog was awesome.
Yeah, but the thing is, Embo is a lot more feared than what people actually realize. If you just watch the Clone Wars, you don't realize how feared he actually was. Like, Embo's a fucking big name bounty hunter, but people just don't realize it because unless you read comics with him, you don't really know. But Embo was rated up there with people like Boba Fett in terms of how good he was. Like, Embo was also one of those guys that, like, you fucking pay the big bucks. And if you don't pay, you know you're fucked. So you better have at least the amount of money that you offer him.
On the contrary, what about Cad Bane?
Cad Bane was, after Django died, he was the most
Yeah.
notorious bounty hunter.
Because
Because
basically Cad Bane raised Boba.
Yeah, but Aurra Singh
then
was more
Boba
on that,
Fett.
wasn't she?
Yeah,
No,
but
she was-
true, it was Cad Bane
raised
or
him.
saying,
Yes, yeah, it's true.
They kind of used him more than they raised him, but they did teach him some stuff.
Yeah,
Basically, not to pledge your allegiance to anybody. Because
Yeah.
Cad Bane worked with the Separatists more than anyone in his life.
but like,
And Boba worked with the Empire because they paid the most.
yeah, but like also like now before they fucked it up with like I love the Bad Batch show, but before they fucked it up with Bad Batch and with the last season of Clone Wars, Boba Fett kills Cad Bane.
Yeah, I thought that was an awesome little.
Now I did like when I saw Cad Bane at first, I was actually angry. Like I was super stoked because I fucking love Cad Bane, but I was also a bit like fucking hell this.
I thought they were gonna give Hunter the kill, and I was like, no, don't you fucking do that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, you better, I swear to
But
fucking
I
God,
do like that Cad Bane
if
said stuff.
yeah, but like I was like, okay, if they just erased the entire thing between Boba and Cad Bane, luckily they didn't. Luckily it was just like he survived it or whatever the fuck. But I
I
was
would like to see.
like the
Maybe
duel.
they dive into it in Bad Batch season 2, like the Bad Batch is helping Boba.
Yeah,
And then they have this like whole duel.
no, but like the duel happens during the Clone Wars. Like you know the fucking sisters arc in Clone Wars season 7.
Yeah.
That arc, because of fucking Kathleen Kennedy and stuff, that arc was put in there instead of a Boba Fett arc where him and Cad Bane. It's in like the episodes, like the unfinished ones that are on YouTube and stuff. You actually see the duel where Boba Fett shoots Cad Bane.
Yeah.
And that's even how he got like the thing in his helmet, the dent in his helmet. So the girls took that story. So now when I saw him in Bad Batch, I was like, well, I hope they haven't erased the entire thing. Luckily they haven't. Luckily it was just that he somehow survived it. But still.
I think they should save Cad Bane and maybe in Bad Batch Season 2, we see the Bad Batch help Boba or something of that accord.
Yeah.
And then, like, Boba Fett meets them at what's-her-name's, that lizard, that Trandoshan, I don't remember her fucking name.
Yeah, I don't remember her name, but yeah.
He meets them there, and he has a job for him, and then that whole thing goes down, just take out a couple of characters and throw the Bad Batch in there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, so going back a little bit, imagine, they're on Kamino, and Django didn't die. Boba Fett went down a path. They went different paths. And they met on Kamino. Boba Fett wanted him dead. Jango Fett wanted Boba dead. Face off, face to face, toe to toe. Who would win? That was essentially. I want y'all's opinions on who you think would win and why you think that person would win.
If Django, so Boba stays a clone essentially?
No. So Boba is Boba, Django is Django. Just like how they are in their prime years, right?
Yep.
So Bounty Hunter Boba, Mandalorian Django / Bounty Hunter, whichever you consider to be his prime, but they go to fight each other because they want each other's dead for whatever reason. They go toe to toe with each other. Who would win in both their prime years facing each other? Who would win in that?
Ooh.
If it's a fist fight, Jango Fett. But if it's a blaster fight, Boba.
See, I'm not sure because to me, so you're saying that essentially they didn't wait. So
he's just saying that they want to kill each other. There's no like familial thing stopping them. They're just all out onslaught against each other.
Yeah. So this is then essentially that Jango Fett didn't train him.
No. He's saying that it's both Boba and Django in their prime.
Yeah.
Trying to fight. There's no like emotional.
It's just the two characters based on like
two characters
right.
All right.
On the movies and comic books.
They don't even know each other.
All right.
They just want to kill each other.
I think that if and this might be it might sound dumb, but I stand by it, and that is, I think that if there was a prize pot on Django's head, I think Boba wins. But I think that if it's just a raw, like, I want to kill you, you want to kill me, I think Django wins.
I would have to agree.
So I think that if they just meet up head to head, I think Django wins if it's just a duel between them, just like, okay, we're just gonna fight each other because we want each other. I think that Django then has a better ground than what Boba has. But if there's money on the line, if both of them have a prize on their heads, then I think Boba's taking the win.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go along with Deadpool and say that I think Django would win.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of comic books between the two, and there's one comic book that stands out with me, and I read it once and I remember every single detail of it. It takes place a couple of months before the Battle of Geonosis. A clone had escaped Kamino. He went to his own little planet to try and live, and Dooku ordered, what am I trying to say here? Dooku hired Django to go execute him. And when he found out it was a clone, the clone had like knocked him out and brought him into his own house. And he was like, "Can you do it? Can you kill yourself?" And Django goes, "Yes." And he blasts him. Because you're not me.
Yeah.
Looks at his own reflection and just blows his brains out.
Yeah.
And then the guy has a wife and a kid. And she's like, "Why don't you look like my husband?" And he goes, "And that's why you get to live." And then he walks out. And Boba watched the whole encounter. I'm building up something, so give me a second.
Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Reading that comic book, and then reading another one that Boba was in, I haven't seen as much as a ruthless character as Django before. There are other, like, obviously there's others in different medias like DC and all that crap, but I'm talking about basically Star Wars. I've never seen such ruthless action like that before.
No, yeah.
And so I say Django. Django just has more grit. Django's got more. I don't care if you look just like me. I don't care if you walk, talk, sleep, eat the same food as me. If it's the job, I'm gonna complete it,
Yeah.
and he will do it as ruthless and efficient as possible. And he's got his poison darts. He's got the missile backpack. He's got that grappling hook. He's got the little blaze that come out of his arm. He's got a flamethrower. They both have the same tools, but I think Django can use them more effectively against Boba than Boba can against Django. Because Django spent his entire life with this armor, and Boba just inherited it and had no training and hardly any training with it actually. Because Django did teach him how to fly and stuff in the comic books, but
Yeah.
it seems that I think Django's experience outweighs any of Boba's arsenal or more accurate. Because you got to be accurate with dual blasters, and from what we see in the movies and what we see in, there even the Star Wars Bounty Hunter games, or the game, and comic books, Django's accurate with those things.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone in this room or in this podcast has ever dueled before. It's not easy.
Yeah. I've tried it once or twice.
I shot both at the same time, and one flew out of my weakest hand, which is my left hand, and I will never do it again. But that's really what sold it for me is Django is more effective with his tools than Boba would be.
Yeah.
Right. So I like how you brought that up earlier. Are you finished? Sorry.
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
All right. I like how you brought that up earlier. So let's change up the scenario a little bit. There's no money involved. It's not just pure hate, right? Or it's not just pure fight to the death. Let's say they both had a wife, and Django killed Boba's wife, and Boba killed Django's wife. So you have a motive, and you have a revenge kill at hand for both of them. Changing up the scenario to that, who do you think would win?
Django.
Django
I
did
personally-
actually have a girlfriend.
I personally think it'd be Boba.
I would have to agree. Would be Boba.
Changing the narrative, Boba would go all out, and I think he would honestly fuck Django up. He would take no stops.
See, to me, I think that the thing is that, for me, because the different ways that they were raised, because obviously, Boba, like I don't know if this was part of changing the narrative that you meant, or if you just meant if you meant everything, or just the fact of knowing Django. But the way that Boba was raised, in the sense of that, he's a bounty hunter, don't make ties, you're a lone wolf. And then you have the Mandalorian way, which is we are brothers and sisters. I think that Django's the way that Django has been essentially raised when it comes to having personal ties is completely different to what Boba has been raised with. With Django, family is everything. At least from the standpoint of being a Mandalorian. Like, I don't like, he even chose that when he makes clones, one of the ones had to be, he was going to take that to his son, take that as his son, and none of the fucking like growth stuff, just his son.
Yeah.
So I think that he has a completely different view of life and love than what Boba has. With Boba, it's like, yeah, okay, like, you guys, you help me with whatever the fuck, alright. With Django, family means so much more. Someone that is dear to you means so much more to Django. So I think that if someone kills someone that Django loves, to me, I think that that's going to hurt him a lot more. And but not hurt him in the sense of that he's like, I think that he's actually going to like go all fucking in, and he isn't going to stop at shit. And again, I think that the difference is also going to be the way that they handle pain and the way that they handle the situation. I think that Django would be a lot more composed. Now, I'm not saying that Boba wouldn't be composed, but I think that Django, we see this with his revenge quest after Mace Windu as well. I think that Django would be able to keep his calm in that sense a lot more than what Boba would, because Boba has so much rage in him that it's kind of and I'm a shameless plug here. No, it's not even plug. It's a fucking comparison, which I think is actually pretty good. I feel like it's going to be Anakin versus Obi-Wan, whereof Boba releases all of his anger, but Django is just as good. So they're just gonna go head to head, and it's just not gonna go anywhere until Boba's hatred or whatever the fuck takes up too much, and it ends up with his downfall. Because I think that Django is going to be the Obi-Wan in the situation, and then Boba is going to be the Anakin in the situation, where it's like showing maybe like the better power at the start, but then inevitably loses. That's my thought.
I agree with that. Definitely.
I think Boba's willpower will outweigh Django's willpower. Boba will go to more of an instinct to kill him, but that's just me.
No, like it's a debate.
Boba
So
definitely has a giant will, because he's held his own against Vader. He held his own against.
Luke, all of them.
It was Luke, wasn't it? And I don't remember exactly. I've read a lot of Star Wars comic books, and one of them's kind of like meshed together. It's whenever Boba, I think he was fighting Mara Jade.
yeah,
And I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know it's some of her getting hurt, and then Luke just relentlessly just went after him and just kept banging on him, and Boba was just trying to hold his own, and eventually he did falter because I think Luke's composure when he loses it would be just as bad as Anakin's.
yeah,
But that I'm not sure that's entirely accurate. I'm not going to say it is, but that's just how it is in my head because it's been so long since I've read it.
yeah,
But I agree with Ferno on this one. I agree that I think Django's been up and around so much his life of, oh yeah, family is everything. If you lose your family, you kill what took it from you. And Boba, when he was younger, he showed remorse. Because you saw what he was like with pawns when Aurra Singh said shoot him. He couldn't do it. He didn't want to. It wasn't about the lesser people.
and even on the ship before when he stunned that clone instead of
Yeah, when he
killing
stunned
him.
the clone. He could have shot him and knocked him off the reactor.
Yeah,
Walked away. But he didn't. He stunned him. Because he still has that whole, these are my brothers, but not really. And it's also my father's legacy, is how he saw it then. But if we're doing they don't care about each other, they're just going after, then I think Django wins because obviously the experience factor. I think Django has had a lot more experience in fighting and in weaponry skill than Boba did. And I just think Django has an all-around more understanding of family, because all Boba ever had was, as a good father figure, was Django, and then he went under Aurra Singh's wing, and she betrayed him several times and faltered. And he went under Cad Bane, and Cad Bane treated him like crap. And they went under Dooku, and Dooku did the same thing and treated him like crap. So he didn't really have any good parents after that. And he went on to just be this lone wolf because he didn't want to be with anybody. Everybody he had known, except for his father, had betrayed him or treated him like crap.
yeah,
So I agree with you, Flair. Definitely Django, because he knows what it is, what family, the true meaning of family is, and that the Obi-Wan Anakin kind of style you explained it. I do certainly agree with that.
yeah. What do you think, Deadpool?
So, I kind of agree. Like I said, I think with this change of scenery, being a loved one who's lost, and they're fighting out of pure emotional rage, I think Boba would win. But with how they're raised, like I did state earlier, Django is a guerrilla warfare, master. Boba Fett's a manhunter. That's their forte. So it just popped in my mind again. If Jango Fett would have lived through the Clone Wars and raised Boba Fett up to a full adult, and Boba Fett was essentially raised Mandalorian at that point, they have the same upbringing now. Django taught Boba everything he knew. Who would win at that point, knowing everything? With me, I believe Boba would win because Django would hold back a little because he raised him. That's his son. That's his offspring in his eyes. His
Yeah.
his mold that he created. So I think Boba would win just because of that emotional delay that Django would have.
Yeah.
But I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that one.
No,
I do
I
agree
agree on that one.
because it's like what is it? Only the apprentice can take down the master, that sort of thing. If
Yeah.
Django raised Boba all the way throughout the Clone Wars and all the way to the top to be a full-grown adult, I definitely think Boba, because when you train to fight, I did karate for I think 3 or 4 years. I can't remember; it's been so long. But when your sensei or whatever you want to call me, your karate master, your teacher, whatever, when he teaches you, he's teaching you to fight how he fought and how he's doing it. You're adapting to not only his style, but you're making your own kind of fluent fighting style.
Yeah.
And you can throw him off by doing something random. Like you throw your two right jabs and a left jab is your it's right left is your standard, and if you change it up to right left or left right, it can throw anybody off. Or if you throw a kick in there or a knee in there or a palm in there, you can throw someone off easily. So I think Boba growing up with everything Django teaches him would definitely throw Boba at the advantage because you can outshine your master if you know enough.
Exactly.
But I also think that, considering what you said there, Deadpool, I think that in the previous situation with the wives, because I agree on you with this one, I think that in this one, I think Boba wins. But I think that is the thing, is that what is Django's strength in the wife one is his weakness in this one. It is the way that he has been raised about family. That's his strength in getting revenge for his wife, but it's his weakness in fighting his son. So I think that, and this obviously sounds like I'm just trying to get my point to be quote unquote right, but it's a debate, so I don't care about being right. But I think that if you consider whoever's the winner of one of them has to be the loser of the other one. Because we base it, because what will be the baseline no matter what is emotions. And so I think that when you then go into the fact that, okay, well, Django's emotion would be, his downfall in this fight. Well, okay, in that case, it's definitely going to boost him in the other one. So I think that when it comes to that, I think that one has to be a weakness, whilst the other one is a strength.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I definitely think with this one, Boba Fett wins 9 times out of 10. It brings me back to the new trilogy where Kylo Ren is just wanting Luke dead so badly because Luke wronged him as his master. It gives me that same feel. I feel like it would play out the same. I feel like in the scene where Luke's Force hologram, whatever you want to call it, Force ghost, is there fighting quote unquote Kylo, and in the open field, and then he realizes that Luke's actually not there. I think if Luke was actually there, Kylo Ren would have cut him down in that scene, and that's exactly how I feel about Boba Fett and Jango Fett fighting. Being if Jango Fett did raise him, if he survived through the Clone Wars, and this was his son at this point, and he turns and tries to fight his master for whatever reason, I feel like that would really, Boba Fett would definitely win because he would have no emotional attachment to him, and Jango Fett would. So it would definitely be a one-sided victory, but at the same time, it's a victory nonetheless.
Yeah. So we're all agreeing that
this particular one, I think will be Boba, but Django we will be Boba.
Yeah, I think we all agree that Boba's winning that one. All right, so, any other ways to flip the script, Deadpool, that you've been thinking? Any other ways that you want to encourage the duel? Oh shit.
So, I could, let's say they both have an emotional attachment to each other. You know, Boba recognizes him as his father. Django recognizes him as his son. Django works for the Hutts right now, and Boba works for Vader. Vader wants the Hutts dead. The Hutts want Vader dead. So they're plotted against each other. So they're there to kill each other, right?
Mhm.
And this duel happens, we'll say in Cloud City, I guess. Boba Fett shows up. Jango Fett shows up. They're both surprised by the appearance of the other. Who would win in this particular scenario?
I s- I think Boba.
I think Boba as well, because I think it goes back to, you know, them still having attachments. I think that any father or mother has a stronger bond to their child than their child has to them. I'm not saying that a child doesn't have a strong bond to their parent, but any parent,
Right.
if you raised a kid, no matter what, you will be the one. You created this. You've bred this. This is what's gonna pass you your legacy and your name on. So I think that in any battle, or definitely pretty much any battle, I would say, between a father and a son, a daughter, a mother, or whatever, parent and child, I think the child is always going to come out on top, because this is also how, you know, people work. It's like, you know, like with any humans, like or animals, you know, we're supposed to fly out of the nest at some point. We're supposed to leave. We're supposed to build our own family. So I think
Right.
that the attachment is always stronger from the parent side than what is from the children's side. So I think that the children are always going to. I think the children are always going to win, especially at least if it's an an even battle like this is. Two incredibly strong characters, very different but also very very similar. I think that Boba's going to come out on top purely because he is the son and Django is the
Right.
father.
Right. So I
So
agree with that. I think, like you said, Django being the father, you know, mothers and fathers have a stronger love, a stronger bond for their children than children can understand for their parents. So I think, that being said, I think once again, if if Jango Fett even decides to fight him, I think the fight would not last long, and I think Boba would win. But in my mind, I think Jango would put down his blasters and say, "I'm not doing this. It's not worth the money." Where Boba Fett would be the opposite. He'd say, "You know, money's money. This is my livelihood. I'm sorry, but you're in my way." So I think either way, Boba Fett, being the more emotional savage of the two, would definitely pull through and win that, or at least, you know, stop Jango Fett from being in his way. However, he might do that. You know.
Yeah.
how I look at it is, so we're saying that. All right. So here's how my brain's taking it. Boba watched his father, at this time, quote unquote, die
Mhm.
at Geonosis. So I think they both freeze. Like at first, they just stop dead in their tracks. Like what? And the first half of the fight would just be them trying to get the one to join the other, kind of like Vader and Luke.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would win in this situation. I think since Boba has not seen his father in a long time, and he would just like wouldn't want to fight him, and Django like this is my son. I haven't seen him in a while. I think they would both eventually come to terms, and I don't know. I don't think anyone would win. I think this would be more of a they both just agree to stop because it's not right.
You know,
Because
now that you mentioned that, I kind of agree. Uh, now that you brought that up, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Honestly, I think I think you're right. I think it would be, you know, kind of a shocking moment, because, you know, Boba's entire life is to avenge his father. That's what the bars on the left side of his helmet stand for. That's why they're yellow. It's the Mandalorian marks for revenge or avenging a death of a family member. And then once you see him again in the Mandalorian, the marks are actually red now, so which signifies a life of peace, a life of acceptance.
Yeah.
So you can see that he's moved on with his life. I think now realizing that, hey, my father's alive, my whole life that I've been trying to get revenge is for nothing. I think he's like, you know what, maybe it is time to put the blaster down and retire and, you know, spend the rest of my days with my father. I think now that you bring that up, that actually is a really, really good point.
Because I look at it as they'd fake. I think Boba would definitely fake Django's death because Django was already dead at first. So I think the Hutts really, they're not a big player in most of the Star Wars universe. They do hold a lot of territory, but if Vader really wanted to, he could invade Tatooine and take out Jabba.
Oh, like he just walks into
The
Jabba's.
Huttese empire would fall down.
Yeah, fucking hell, Vader just walks into Jabba's temple, he kills fucking everyone, no worries. Like,
so I think really it would lean towards like the factions. All Boba's got to do is say, "Hey, yeah, I killed their bounty hunter," and Django's just like, "Oh, I'm dead." Blah.
mhm.
And then Vader just comes in and wipes out the Hutts, even though Boba does have more of a tie-in with the Hutts than he does with Vader. But it's saying it in the situation that Deadpool's presented to us.
Yeah.
I definitely think that this would not have a decisive winner. I think they would both lay down arms.
Okay, but
You know, this makes me want, you know the old show, I can't remember the name of it. There was an old TV show where they would get different people from different militaries and organizations, and they would do simulations to fight each other and see who would win.
I think it's called Halo. Okay.
Deadliest Warriors.
Yeah.
They should
Oh, yeah.
definitely make a Star Wars one where, like, you know, they run 1,000 simulations, Jango Fett versus Boba Fett, who would win, and then at the end they do like an animated like little video of the fight.
Yeah.
That would be an amazing show. That's
It will be
something
on
needs to happen.
Zero Attack's YouTube channel. It will be called Death Battle. Who will win this?
Yeah.
fight?
Yeah,
It's
it's
fine.
because I believe
Genius.
it's the same. Come on. It's called Death Battle because never seen before, completely new.
Never
It's
before
called-
seen on TV.
Okay,
It's
but
called The Deadpool.
the Deadpool.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Uh,
And the cash prize is called the Death Pool.
The cash
Okay.
prize is called the money shot.
No, come on. The money pool.
the money.
There we go.
Money pool. But okay, so so now we've essentially landed on that none of them would kill each other. That seems to be the majority's thought here. But
Yeah.
obviously it's
Yeah.
Deadpool's topic and he has been throwing out stuff. But I want to throw out this then. What if there has to be one that walks out alive, one that walks out dead? Not necessarily
Well,
needing to
he
go out
won't
to
walk out
specifics.
dead, but, you know.
No, okay, so
Well,
if we don't really go into too many specifics, but we just go, okay, they're both same scenario, you know, cash money, you know, one wants the other, Vader wants one dead, the Jabba wants the other dead, right? They go head to head.
Right.
One of them has to die. Who is
I think
dying?
I think it just falls back on Django's experience.
Okay.
We just go back
I
to
think
the first
if
topic
there's-
of Django versus Boba.
Yeah.
I think if there's no emotional attachment on either side, Jango Fett. I think if there is even the slightest of emotional attachments either way, Boba Fett. I
Yeah.
think if there is, you know, money involved, Boba Fett. That's a tough one, you know, with no further details. If they didn't know each other, like I said, Jango Fett because of his training as a Mandalorian, and Boba Fett was never really officially trained as a Mandalorian. I mean, he even says it in the show, The Mandalorian. You know, I am no Mandalorian. This is my father's armor.
Yeah.
So no one.
Like because that's where it falls for me as well, is that, you know, because we're speaking of in their primes. So because in their primes, I think that Boba was a lot more, which is one thing that I actually think that our points have slipped a bit on, is when we're saying prime, we're going like out of everything that Django's ever done. Well, whilst with Boba, we're sticking to around like the time of like episode 6 or whatever, right, or 5.
Yeah, I'm going like more with what I've read.
Yeah,
what I've
but so I think that when we think in their prime, I think that Boba was a lot more, like, obviously in The Mandalorian something different, but I think that he was a lot more into the materialistic stuff when he was in his prime, whilst Django in his prime still had, you know, that personal He had the attachments. He had all this because in his prime was when he had Boba as a son.
Yeah,
So
he was more sentimental.
yeah, I think that anything that is emotionally driven, other than it being father killing son, son killing father, anything else, I think that Django has it. But if it's materialistic, whether it be losing a bet, whether it be fucking, I don't know, like someone has paid you, I think that Boba wins because of the difference in motivation. I think that
Right.
Django, when it comes to, which I personally think is a better trait to have, so in a head-to-head, I think Django would probably have won. Maybe. This is why we're having a fucking debate about it, isn't it? So I think that Django has like any other situation than it being involved with money. I think Django is the one that comes out with the victory, whilst Boba, then again, as I just said, he was more into what he earned and all the materialistic stuff. So I think that it completely depends on the situation who wins. So anything emotional, that's very vague, but like, that's the only word that I can think of right now. So if it's anything emotional or anything other than that, Django wins. Materialistic, specifically involving money, Boba wins because of the motivation is there in
God,
completely different
he had
ways.
motivation when he was murdering those stormtroopers to get his armor back. God, that was the best scene I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
life.
I was just
He
about
wanted
to bring
his
that up.
he wanted his fucking armor back, bro.
I want my dad's
I
armor
was
back.
just about to bring that up.
But again,
And then
see,
he
but
just
see,
goes to town.
see, I wanted to use that example, but again, we're talking about in his prime.
Right.
So
So,
that's why I
that
didn't use
being
that
said,
example.
What I was gonna bring up about him just murking those stormtroopers and taking his armor, what I was gonna bring up is, let's say Django and Boba both, neither one of them had their armor.
Mhm.
All it was a full out brawl to the death, just in their fucking robes that they wear when they don't have their armor,
Just
just
hand-to-hand
normal
combat.
clothes, no weapons, just fists. Who wins then?
Boba.
Django. No. Django, no. Hands down.
What's your reasoning behind Boba Air?
Well, one, he I don't know. I just have a feeling Boba would win.
I mean, if you
all right, guy.
Totally not the fact that I'm watching a screw attack video about Jango Fett versus Boba Fett, but yeah, that's totally. I don't even know who that is. You know.
what?
So, guy, what's your reasoning behind Django?
Again, it falls back to the whole shtick with how he was trained. It's just that it falls back to his training and his discipline, and that's not really all you can say much, because if you read anything about the Mandalorians, their fighting style is perfected to fight anything that comes their way. Because they fought the Jedi more than anything at one point, but at the other point they were fighting each other, and that
Yeah.
meant in armor, out of armor, with swords or whatever. Because it would be cool to see them fight each other out of armor. I'd love to see any of this stuff we're talking about.
Right.
But Django's just
Now,
got...
do you think?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Anyways, do you think that, because we kind of touched on it earlier, Boba Fett has, he's more popular than his dad was. Do you think that had to do with the fact that being said, what you just said, the Mandalorians are obviously the most ruthless warriors. They're a big name race in the Star Wars universe. Do you think the reason Boba Fett skyrocketed to one of the highest names in the bounty hunter scene is because he was one of the only Mandalorians during his time of being a bounty hunter?
Definitely.
No. Wait, actually, yeah.
His
De-
dress,
Also, to
definitely.
come back to my point,
and that he became...
Boba's taken on multiple Jedi and won. Django took on Mace Windu and lost.
Mace Windu was the
So-
second most powerful Jedi in his time.
That's true.
He is
And
one
plus, you can't
one
really
of
say he fought one Jedi and lost, because
Well,
they
he
kind
did lose against Kenobi too.
did he though?
So,
He's the one who kicked Kenobi off the entire
yeah,
thing.
and technically, Kenobi got,
I think they were.
I
both
mean,
But-
I do
same.
see what Eric's saying. He did run away from Kenobi.
I do see the point, but I don't think that and this is again gonna sound a bit vague, but you know, for one, with the Django, he's going from that one movie, whilst with Boba he's going from the comics. Django has done some fucking serious shit in the comics, and also
I'm going with both.
from kind of the sideline here, because AR seems to be rooting for Boba and Guy is rooting for Django, at least in this one, and I think that again, it comes down to, I think one of you guys mentioned it, the discipline, and I think that with the difference will be the way that they've been raised. And again, like, this is what we keep going back to, but it seems to be a very important point, which I would actually say it is an important point, not just assume. And the way they've been raised is because of the Mandalorians, composure in battle. Composure in battle and how to improvise in a situation. Now, the Mace Windu thing, you can say whatever the fuck. Okay, right, but what the fuck was he gonna do there? The man is charging at him with a lightsaber. All you have is one blaster. What the fuck are you gonna do?
He had a flamethrower. He had a grappling hook. He could have grabbed him.
Well, his
He had a
jetpack.
He
his
tried that
jetpack,
earlier.
he actually tries to use it and it short circuits, but his
Yeah.
flamethrower runs through his jetpack fuel.
Yeah.
And his jetpack malfunctions, the flamethrower malfunctions.
That's kind
And
of
He just got ran
learn
over
your
by a
learn
tank.
your shit, Air. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But
Well,
so,
I mean,
so
I'm more of a Boba fan, and I pay more attention to Boba.
no,
Not
yeah,
Jango,
no, yeah, I get it.
You know?
Yeah, we get
So-
what you're saying, man. I love them both.
for me, I think that because we're on the fist of like hand-to-hand combat, no nothing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think that, and it's going to sound like I'm very much taking Django's side on this, and it's going to sound more extreme than what it is, but I'm going to explain my point after I've made it. I think that this is going to be a bit like when a sensei pisses off his student and his student just goes for full rage and the sensei just absolutely makes a mockery of him. Now hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not saying that Boba Fett is going to completely lose his cool. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think that Django, because Boba was never, again, he's a bounty hunter. Okay, he's probably been trained to, take a punch or two. He can probably throw one as well. But Django, again, was raised by Mandalorians. Hand-to-hand combat they're fucking good in hand-to-hand combat. And I think that the different ways that they've been raised, I think that Django, he doesn't need shit. If the playing field is completely even, no armor, no weapons, no nothing, just fists, I think that Django won't even really need to. Okay, we'll have to try, but I think that his composure and his ability that he has been taught from the Mandalorians because of their ability in hand-to-hand combat, I think that's going to be a massive benefit for Boba Fett, because the way that Boba's been raised, very often he'll probably need a blaster. Not always. I'm not saying that because I know what he can do. But I think that Django has a better ability without needing anything than what Boba has, because of a bounty hunter. Do what the fuck you need to do to get the bounty. Get the money. That's it. Mandalorians, well, a completely different story, essentially, if you know what I mean. So I think
Well, let me
that...
bring up
So
another topic.
I think just fists. I think that Django comes out on top. But I think...
What about
yeah.
what about starfighting? What about like in a dogfight?
I think Boba's got the edge on that one.
I mean,
Boba wins.
they fly the same ship, so...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Everyone
but
should too.
Django had stole it. If we're going based off old canon, Django stole it. He'd
Yeah.
only had it a couple of months before he had started to do the clones, and then he had 10 years with it. Boba Fett's had his whole life with that ship,
Yeah.
and Django only had it for so long. So I think Boba had more time to master how the ship works and everything.
Yeah, probably.
So
The
I
way
give-
Boba
And also Django teaches him from as a kid as well.
yeah.
right,
so
the way
I think
the way
that's
Boba handles that ship I think he would just drop one of those charges right in front of it and just fuck Django up.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to have seismic charges are so fucking cool.
Yeah, like
The sound alone, just
when I saw that in Attack of the Clones, I was like, my mouth just fucking dropped. I was like,
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like, that was awesome.
See, I wasn't
I had the
impressed
same
by it.
reaction seeing it in Attack of the Clones that I did watching in The Mandalorian.
I had a lot more hype
I
in
was not
it.
impressed.
oh
by it.
yeah.
When I
Yeah,
saw that camera angle change, I knew it was coming. I was like, "Oh fuck!
Oh, yeah.
here it comes!"
I was like,
then I saw it, and I
oh
was
shit.
like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was real cool to see.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So Boba takes a ship. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
All right. So Deadpool again. Is there anything that you want to build on it, or should we maybe like take a quick little 10-20 minute topic?
No, I think honestly that is all I had. I think I think collectively, I think we can all agree, Boba Fett had more of the points through that conversation. I think overall, if we took a collection, because essentially I'm trying to. What I want to do is
fuck,
have,
we should have kept a tally on this because I have no clue who realistically has the more points.
I've been keeping a tally.
Boba Fett 4.
Yeah, I've been keeping a tally. Boba Fett's up by 3 points.
By 3.
Yes.
By 3.
I swear we did we discuss?
Yeah, me and Flair have agreed more on Django, and then we got.
But
you
okay,
to
because have we? I don't think we've actually been decisive on all of them, have we?
Alright, hand-to-hand combat, dogfighting, emotion, bounty, and just straight up family. I think Boba has 3 of them.
And then coming in contact with each other for 2 different companies hiring them.
Yeah,
So
but
the
okay.
The
So
ones
so
that were indecisive.
So-
ones that were indecisive, I gave a point to both names.
but because okay, so emotion and
I don't
the
think it's
in the
not
wife
that-
one, I think we ended up on Django winning.
Yeah, Flair.
Yeah,
that was
Django.
Django.
And then
We're not here to say who wins. We're just here to throw our debates out.
No, yeah, but I'm actually just interested to see what we actually ended up landing on if we kept a tally, because I'm trying to go through. Okay, so
I
if
find it pointless.
yeah, but
Literally.
it's a bit of fun, isn't it? Okay, so
No.
okay, so because have you are there how many did you give Django a point for winning, and not indecisive?
So Django got. Yep. So Django for winning had 1, 2, 3. Boba Fett winning had 2, and then they each had 2 for indecisives, and then Boba Fett had
Boba
1.
just got the one that we all agreed on just now. So yeah, Boba Fett have 1 ahead of Django.
Oh yeah, you're right. 1 ahead, not 3 ahead.
Yeah, because I was with the 3 head. I was like, wait, hold up. There wasn't that many different topics. So what are you doing?
So that's
Yeah.
what would be it'd be 1 ahead. So Boba has the more 1 than anything.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That
essentially what I
that was why I
would
was
do-
questioning. It was because you said 3 ahead. I was like, hold up. But yeah.
Essentially
No.
what I
No.
wanna do is kinda-
One more makes sense. Yeah.
Kind of make a mini tournament based on these duels of who would win, and
Through attack.
the winners pair them together.
Yeah.
I definitely think this is one of the more interesting topics.
Oh,
because
yeah.
of how it is. Now I do have a little throwaway topic that is not really. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. It would be, who would win in a fight, Boba Fett or Star-Lord.
Oof, Star-Lord.
Sorry. I.
What was the topic? I did not hear
Well.
a word you said.
Yeah. What did you say?
Boba Fett versus Star-Lord. Who wins?
Oh, Boba Fett versus Star-Lord. Yeah, no, Boba Fett.
Boba
Oh
Fett.
wait, we're talking Star-Lord, the Marvel character.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, yeah. Boba shreds him, bro. Boba shreds him. when Darth Vader gives you a comment, no disintegrations, you're beating Star-Lord.
You're getting disintegrated. Sorry.
You're-
Good night.
Like, sorry,
Yeah,
Star-Lord. Listen, I love Star-Lord, but you fucked.
What's your thought on that one, Guy?
Well, there's these people I watch called Bat in the Sun. They do a lot of live action battles against each other, and they're not like analyzation based like Screw Attacks. They're vote based. So Star-Lord won that battle, because he got the votes than Boba. But I have to look at like.
What's your opinion on Force Dia?
Yeah. So, Ray actually came in with a quick topic that we can do before we end it, because we're on 1:15 approximately. So we can do a quick little topic, and it's actually very interesting. So, do you guys know what a Force dyad is, or dyad in the Force?
No.
So a
I've
Force.
heard of it.
Yeah. Okay. So Force dyad, if I remember correctly, which Ray you can correct me on, it's kind of similar to, like kind of like Gogeta or Vegito type of thing, where it's kind of like a fusion between two Force sensitive characters in this sense. Obviously not fucking Dragon Ball characters, but it's essentially two Force sensitive or sensitive characters or beings that kind of like merge into one essentially. I believe that's it. Is that am I right on that one, Ray?
I would right now.
And then it makes them kind of like one with the Force essentially. I don't remember all the ins and outs, but I can.
Oh, being a dyad.
Yeah, being a dyad.
So being a dyad essentially is you are twins within the Force. So you can feel things that the other person feels within the Force.
Yeah.
You can sense the same things. You can speak to each other from across different galaxies. And your Force flows evenly within the two of you.
So kind of like the twins from Hellboy and the Golden Army. They feel each
Essentially,
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm not super deep into it, but yeah, okay. So that's it. So he's asking what our opinion on it is.
I think
Wait.
it shouldn't be.
Isn't a Force dyad what Ray and Kylo did?
Yeah.
Yes, Rey and
Alright.
Kylo are a dyad
Yeah.
in the Force.
Yeah, they're dyad in the
I
Force.
thought that was the dumbest thing in the
Yes.
entire.
But the thing is, because
planet.
but the thing is, in the comics, it's actually kind of cool. Now
They make
the way they did it in the
That's
movie,
cool.
well, the way they did it in the movie was, yeah, okay, kind of dull, but in the comics, it's actually kind of cool, and like I think that it's a very cool concept. Which obviously, in the case of the movie was fucked up a bit, but actually, if you read the comics, it is actually a very interesting concept. Like, I remember one of the storylines. It's one of the lesser known comics, but it's one storyline that is about two Jedi who are twins within the Force, and they meet up. They meet in the temple, and after a few years they realize that they are dyads. And so the thing was, like, they were like tactically used, you could almost say abused by the Jedi. In the sense that they would, let's say, for example, like if they placed them on two different positions, like they would like let one, for example, get captured and tortured and stuff, so that the other one could like know where they were. So it's like they will let them get captured and tortured by the fucking separatists or whatever. I don't fucking remember what timeline it was, but whoever the fuck it was, and they would let them get captured and tortured, and then they would use the one that they still had and use that one to like track down the one that they had been captured. So they would essentially let them go through all this fucking pain, all this bullshit, just to figure out like layers and stuff. So in those comics, it's really fucked up, and one of them ends up dying, and the other one commits suicide.
Well, the last dyad in the Force. Now, it has been years since I've played this, so it's going to be really rusty. But the last, what was it? I want to say it was Knights of the Old Republic, but I feel like that's wrong. Where you played as the brothers, and you ended up killing your brother and becoming a Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yep. So they were the last dyad in the Force.
Yeah.
The one you play as and your brother, those before fucking Rey and Kylo's shitty dyad that they tried to pull in these movies, those were the last dyad in the Force. And I may be
God.
wrong. There might have been other ones. I think someone told me at one point that Luke and Leia were also a dyad. Um, so I think that might be wrong, but the last one that was very, very well known was the two from
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knights of the Republic.
The two twins that wanted to kill their father,
So
and the other one died or something.
So Eric, go ahead and read off what you just put in laid on the table for us, so everyone who's watching can get the definition of that.
All right, a force dyad is also known a dyad as in the force is a rare type of force bond that paired two force-sensitive beings and made them one in the force. The power of a dyad was as strong as life itself. The individuals formed a dyad, shared a connection that spanned across space and time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, aside from the horrible way they placed it in the movies, by just them coincidentally, oh yeah, by the way, I met you once. Now I'm obsessive over you. Oops. Now we
Yeah.
can somehow link a bond, and then instead of it being the special thing, it's just Snoke going, oh yeah, I did that. That was me. That was
Yeah.
it. Now, besides that, the Force Dyad storyline in the comic books, from what you've told me, Flair, is it sounds like it's actually a good thing, showing that the Jedi aren't always the good guys. They are messed up.
Oh no, yeah. Like
Yeah.
it was definitely one of the darker parts of the Jedi, but well, for one, like because there aren't many, but there are a few. These ones definitely being an example of it. Is that it shows the darker sides of the Jedi, which like obviously like if you delve into even just the prequels, then you will see that the Jedi, the Jedi definitely fucked up, and then like and the Clone Wars as well, as you said, like for me one of the biggest examples was fucking up with Ahsoka.
And
You know,
Obi-Wan going undercover.
yeah, like the
And they
like
didn't tell Anakin.
yeah, like one of the fucking dumbest things to do. Hey, yo, this one person that like has a strong bond with his fucking master. Yeah, let's just kill his master. Yeah, let's just do that.
Going to be. Let's just act like his master's dead, not tell him anything, so he can totally not
Yeah.
go on a revenge mission and try and kill the guy who got him.
Check
Yeah.
the other table.
The other table.
No, the table.
The table.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the dyad, I think
Yeah.
we all agree it was done very poorly with the new movies.
It's done poorly in the new movies, but I think it makes for a lot of. It can make for a
could
lot of
be
interesting
interesting.
stories.
Yeah, if done right, it could be interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Just wait 5 years
but
and
I
I'll
think
make it.
For tonight's topic, I think that is a good point. The dyad. That's something for us to think about and maybe bring up at a later date.
Yeah.
God,
Definitely. Whenever we end up discussing Jedi or whatever, I think
get
that's
so
definitely.
frustrated when I get to thinking
Podcast
about.
again.
Oh yeah.
It's
All right.
Major Battalion Arc Commander.
Well, this has been great, guys. Thank you everyone who's tuned in. We got Ray, we got Kamikaze, we got Seth, we got so many people have tuned in. Thank you all so much. Thank you for everyone who is here right now. Thank you to anyone who ends up listening to this on YouTube, SoundCloud, whatever. Thank you all so much. We really do appreciate it, all of us. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. I guess hit with a follow or like on SoundCloud, on the Twitch. Hit a follow. Maybe even like I don't know if you want to fucking promote it. You do that if you want to. If you think that we are good enough for
Share
you,
us with your
give
friends,
it a
or
bit.
Anakin
Promote.
show up at your house with Gunman Slayer 9000.
Yes.
Exactly. All right. So thank you all so much. And I think Deadpool, considering you've been the one running the show today, I think that it's only fitting that you do a bit of an intro for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, guys, thank y'all so much for watching today. It's awesome. It's great to kind of get on here and us just screw around and talk about our thoughts and what we think about it. And it's even better to see that there's people that are interested in hearing that. A big shout out to Air for being our special guest today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and coming here. Some great topics today. Not only because I came up with them, but they're just great in general. Another great recommendation. Another great recommendation from Ray. Thank you, Ray. That was an awesome recommendation. But But yeah, definitely hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Twitch, go ahead and subscribe. It helps us to help you. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next episode of the High Council Podcast.
Nice.